In the Impact segment tonight, is there a Trump-Putin bromance going on? Donald Trump has promised that he would get along very well with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And in a 3-hour press conference Thursday, Putin seemed to endorse Trump's sentiment, calling Trump a, quote, bright and talented person and the absolute leader of the presidential race. Here's how Trump reacted.
I welcome it. I think it's great. I think that's what should be happening. I mean, his dislike for President Obama, and it's a mutual thing, is terrible. That's why you see all the conflict, all the problems, all the hatred. We should be able to work. If we can't work with Russia, that's not a good thing. And I'm greatly honored by his statement. I think it's terrific.
With us now in New York, Katrina Pearson, a spokesperson for the Trump campaign, and from Los Angeles, Kurt Schlichter, a conservative columnist and attorney. So, Kurt, the Putin-Trump mutual admiration, a good thing for Trump's campaign or not?
Oh, I think this is terrible, Eric. Next, I expect him to see him going, riding down the beach, shirtless on horseback together, holding hands. It's kind of disgraceful. I mean, Putin is, our enemy, but coming from a guy who can't tell you what the nuclear triad is, I'm not real surprised that he's slobbering over dictators. At least they're not leftist dictators like Obama prefers.
Okay, so you're not. I'll take it you're not a fan of Trump just yet. Now, Katrina, what about the theory? The theory of getting along with Russia rather than having them as a potential nuclear enemy?
Well, I think what we're talking about here is the global risk we have with terrorism. I mean, we have already had this discussion, even in the debate, talking about do we or don't we take Assad out, when the pattern of taking out dictators in the Middle East has created a vacuum for more and more terrorism. So you have someone like Vladimir Putin, who by all the power indexes have been shown to be the leader of the globe right now as one of the superpowers, and he just said, look, I recognize the leadership and strengths in Donald Trump. And it was just that simple.
Fair enough, but Vladimir Putin is a bad guy. He's not a good guy by any means, so maybe you'd want to push back on someone like Vladimir Putin endorsing you.
Well, he didn't endorse. He also said it's up to the American people to choose their president. But I think it's clear with regards to ISIS, specifically ISIS. We do have to work with other world leaders who are willing to take on ISIS, unlike the current administration and others. Even Bibi Netanyahu said that it's not a wise thing to take out Assad right now because we need to get control of terrorism.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Oh, well, Eric, the problem is that Barack Obama is so incompetent, so feckless, so utterly useless that he makes almost anybody look good by comparison. So you can actually look at how Putin's handling ISIS and go, well, he is killing some of them, so, I've got to give him that. But look, Donald Trump palling around with dictators in a mutual admiration society. It's unbecoming. It's disgraceful. Now, I'm an old Cold Warrior. I was actually in Germany in uniform waiting for the guys in the army Vladimir Putin was in to come over the border. So I remember these guys, and I know what ex-KGBs like Putin are all about. We shouldn't be kissing up to them. We should be telling them how it's going to be.
Kissing up, Katrina, is Trump kissing up?
Palling around. I don't think that's quite palling around, but we also have a lot in the GOP which has caused some of the rift in the party that simply want to just go to war all the time. And there are some who would be happy with perpetual wars. And we're just simply not at that place anymore. And what good does it do to have a good nuclear triad if you're afraid to use it? And that's where we are today. And we need to be discussing how we fix these problems, not just complaining and name-calling about, oh, who started this, who started that. Eric, most people today, if you're a Democrat, you're stuck in the 60s. If you're a Republican, you're stuck in the 80s. Most people today are right here in 2015, and they want somebody that's going to go to bat for them. And right now, Donald Trump seems to be the only person doing it. So, Kurt, let me
throw this at you. One thing that you can say that Vladimir Putin, the positive thing about Vladimir Putin is he taught President Obama what it's like to really wage war against ISIS. And you're seeing it in Syria. You're seeing it in parts of Iraq, mostly Syria, I guess, with the Russians. But at least President Obama is opening his eyes. You're really 2,000-3,000 sorties in a week versus a couple of hundred.
Oh, well, the real story about ISIS, Eric, is if you want to win against ISIS, you have to actually defeat them, which means putting in Army forces and Marines on the ground to go in and destroy the enemy. Not this pinpoint bombing nonsense, not a lot of photo ops at the counterterrorism center.
Kurt, don't you get the impression that Donald Trump is the kind of guy that wants to do that? And I think he said he wants to bomb the S out of them.
Well, maybe he does today. What's he going to want to do tomorrow, Eric? This guy's totally inconsistent. You never know what he's going to want to do.
I think he's been pretty consistent, though, Kurt. You have to admit, he's been very consistent on his position with regards to ISIS.
Katrina, go ahead.
Is it too much that he know what the nuclear triad is? I mean, Katrina, the point of the nuclear triad is to be afraid to use the damn thing. You want to scare the hell out of the other side. Barack Obama's not doing it. And frankly, my side will be more scared if Donald Trump gets his finger on the button.
You will have to concede that for the last couple of election cycles, the Republican Party has failed to deliver a candidate that would succeed. We are talking about the Republicans.
You're right about that. I mean, my gosh, McCain, Romney, ugh.
Hold on. Go ahead, Katrina.
You have Republicans, the same Republicans that are telling us today that Donald Trump cannot beat Hillary Clinton when they can't even beat Donald Trump. You have Republicans today saying he can't win, he's not going to do it. But he's been doing it. He is winning over people. He is bringing over independents. He is bringing over women and Democrats. So why is it that the Republicans that have failed for the last 2 cycles in a row trying to tell the American public, or more importantly, their own voters, just how wrong that they are?
Kurt, if there is one thing you think the world leaders who are Putin, who are Xi in China, have to say, this Donald Trump guy, I'm not sure what he's up to. I'm a little afraid of it. Not unlike a Ronald Reagan.
Well, it is unlike Ronald Reagan, because they were afraid of Ronald Reagan because they understood he was a competent guy surrounded by competent guys, and he wasn't going to back down. With Donald Trump, it's like, hey, I don't want to make a sudden move around him because this guy's crazy. Holy cow, who wants to give Donald Trump
I don't know.
I don't know. Same attack.
It's the crazy ones. It's the crazy ones you have to worry about. The crazy ones, you're not sure what's going to happen. I got to leave it right there, Katrina.
I shouldn't be the one worrying.
We're going to leave it right there, Kurt. Thank you very much, Katrina.